Tonight, explosive video obtained by CBS 5 Investigates tells the truth about a murder inside the county jail. The security video reveals how a violent attack went on and on and on before anyone seemed to notice or respond. Investigative reporter Morgan Lowe is live with that story. Morgan?
Christina, we need to offer a strong word of warning here. You are about to see someone get murdered. It is violent. It is disturbing. But this video tells a story the sheriff's office did not. You're looking at grainy surveillance video taken in the maximum security section of the Maricopa County Jail. On the right side of the screen, guards rush onto a second-floor walkway. They perform CPR on a lifeless and bloodied inmate. Down below, the accused murderer is cuffed. But what happened during the 20 minutes that led up to this scene is raising serious questions about just who has control over the jail, the guards or the inmates.
Things can happen in a blink of an eye, you know, that it's uncontrollable. 20 minutes, that's not a blink of an eye. That's somebody didn't do their job.
It was the night of May 1st, and surveillance cameras rolled as 5 inmates were having what appears to be a heated conversation in a jail rec room. The time is 8:12 p.m. At 8:13, they leave the room. Another camera catches one of the inmates limping up the stairs. His name is Robert Cotton, and he doesn't know it, but he's about to be murdered. At 8:14, inmate Pete Van Winkle follows Cotton up the stairs and into Van Winkle's cell. It looks like they're having a conversation. Then they disappear off camera. At 8:15, you can see legs on the ground. They're struggling. 8:16, Van Winkle is choking Cotton from behind. 8:17, another inmate walks by the cell and glances inside. He just moves on, and there's no sign of a guard anywhere. 8:19, Van Winkle starts smashing Cotton's head into the ground. He does this 19 times. Cotton is not fighting back. He's not even moving. At 8:20, Van Winkle begins stomping on Cotton's head. It's now been 5 minutes since this vicious attack began, and the jail guards are nowhere in sight. 8:24, and Van Winkle appears to be looking directly at the surveillance camera. Nobody's looking back. The attack continues for another 5 minutes. Then at 8:30, Van Winkle drags Cotton out of the cell and onto the balcony. Inmates later tell investigators Van Winkle yelled, "Who wants to hear what this expletive sounds like?" falling off the balcony. It's 8:32, and Van Winkle starts kicking Cotton again. Cotton hasn't moved in more than 15 minutes. At 8:33, Van Winkle calmly walks away. He heads downstairs and lies down face first on the ground. At 8:34, guards finally storm in, a full 20 minutes after the assault began, and Robert Cotton is dead.
Where was the guard who was supposed to be monitoring the camera?
That's the big question.
That's the biggest question.
We showed the video to Jess Torres, a security consultant and former police officer.
Somebody wasn't doing their job.
Torres says that even though the video images of Van Winkle strangling and beating Cotton appear unclear and out of focus, to a jail guard it should have been clear something was going on.
They're trained to notice and they're paid to notice. So yes, I believe that they should have noticed.
We've learned Pete Van Winkle was awaiting trial for attempted murder and is a member of a dangerous and violent prison gang called the Aryan Brotherhood. Robert Cotton was awaiting trial for auto theft.
He was just Robbie. He was just another guy that had some hard times that was trying to get through them.
Scott Appleby is Cotton's brother. He says Cotton was never violent, and although he was in jail, he had recently taken steps to turn his life around. He left behind 2 daughters, one of them with special needs.
I talked to him 2 nights before he died. If there was any inkling of him being afraid or that somebody was after him, he'd have told me.
Inmate interviews in this 500-page sheriff's office investigation point to one possible explanation for the killing. Van Winkle was working for the Aryan Brotherhood and was sent to the cell block to beat up Cotton because Cotton refused to beat up another inmate. The investigation leaves several questions unanswered. What was said in the rec room before the murder? Was this an Aryan Brotherhood trial? Why would Cotton voluntarily walk into the cell belonging to the man who was about to kill him? And why did it take 20 minutes for detention officers to finally rush into the cell block? Sheriff Joe Arpaio is in charge of the jail. He refused to talk to us about this case, but his office sent this news release the day after the murder. It says nothing out of the ordinary appeared to be happening in or around that cell. But once Van Winkle dragged Cotton out of the cell, detention officers rushed to the scene. The video tells a different story. Even if the guards missed the first 15 minutes of the beating inside the cell, it still took them 5 minutes to respond after Van Winkle dragged Cotton out of the cell.
I think they know what went wrong here. Now, whether they correct it or not is going to be something else.
We've now learned the detention officer who was supposed to be watching the video monitors was talking on the telephone during the attack. Pete Van Winkle is charged with first-degree murder. The county attorney is seeking the death penalty. Robert Cotton's family has filed a $2 million claim against the sheriff's office. I'm Morgan Lowe for CBS 5 Investigates.